I will go very fastly through all things related to SmartAfriHub, but because you heard, or there is already a lot of information. I think, Hanka, if you can share the records from previous presentation where this part was already discussed, then people can see this fastly, but I will only skip very fast through all these things. Yes, so we call this that this fully smart agri hub is social space for smart agriculture, and we have there this parts, yes, social space, demo application space for developers, and smart AfriHub maps. Today, the most now of the things will be focused on this. Social space or demo application, we are trying to put to the menu some interesting application which could help to the people what was discussed in Tula group and other. So in this application you can find the link to a number of interesting application, and we will of course add some more. Yes, there is this knowledge base, there is blog, forum, the wiki, and we are trying to publishing a lot of information, but anybody from you can sign to our web pages and put some information into forum on blog. Yes, it is not only that we have to do, but if you have something interesting, you are welcome to publish this on this our knowledge base. So this is next. There were already big presentation, because what we are offer mainly to the researcher and to the people who would like to test some develop. We have the cloud, and you can on the cloud test it, artificial intelligence and other tools to develop their own application. It is more for developers and for researchers. There were already also, I think, big webinar about this. So Hanka, I hope will share the link to this webinar. And now we are here about what we will speak today. Yes, we will make some introduction of map composition. You will see how to work with the map composition. Here are the main topics which are used for this. All what is here are open sources, and if you will go to SmartAfriHub, you can find there information about the tools and what is important for programmers. You can find the link to GitHub or to the repositories where you can find these things. So shortly, OpenWidska is geospatial catalog working on. There were already mentioned this OGC standard, and but it is also supporting open search and other things, and it is also able to serve data in RDF for the expert. It is some format for link open data. Lyman is the tool which help to publish data and map composition, because for many people to use the software like map server, GeoServer could be complicated. So Lyman is something what through the open API allowed you to manage publishing data on the server. And again, if you will go to the GitHub, you can find there the description of API, and you can test it, this Lyman, separately. In reality, if you will work with SmartAfriHub, you never will see OpenWidska, you never will see Lyman, but without these two tools, will be not possible to offer what you can use or how you can work. So till now, Widska Lite client will be implemented on in the few days, will be available, but today the main focus will be on HLayers NG and on QGIS with Lyman plugin. So this will be the things where we will show you today how you can digitize your own data, and how also you can prepare your own map composition as Runar presented, and how you can share this with others. So this infrastructure is fully based on on this standard of Open Geospatial Consortium. For your information, I am one from the 2 chairs in Open Geospatial Consortium who is responsible for agriculture information. So we are really working on this, but this map composition is something what is going beyond current OGC standardization. Now, shortly, what is our next plan? I show this cloud. So, idea is how in the future be able to connect this cloud for direct publishing in the portal. So it takes some time, but we are thinking how to make this easy. And what I would like to ask you is, of course, the system is under the development. It is used on some advanced components, but of course there could happen that something will not run because it is integrated a lot of the things. So we would like to ask you to join a SmartAfriHub, and here you can find in the forum the part dedicated to the technology, and if you will have some problem, or if you will discover new data, or if you would like to make some suggestion, please use this forum to discuss with us and to help us to improve the system. We don't plan to stop our work after the hackathon. Yes, this is something what we are developing with the vision of sustainability for a long time, but to improve all these things, we will need also your contribution. So anybody can register yourself on our hub and make here some comments. Of course, you can put comments also on other places, or you can use blog or other, but to help us with the system, it will be good if you will use this part and try to communicate with us. So I think that it is all from my side. I try to be short because I think that much more important will be to make this technical demonstrations.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Karol, for that quick overview of a great effort, a joint effort by the community, I would also underline, and that this community is open to everybody that's interested. And now, I saw a question here that was about mapping. I just want to get that out of the way. Asa is asking this. How is this mapping quality in terms of cadastral maps? And I think perhaps this was for you, Runar. Are you with us, Runar?
I'm with you, but my
yes.
microphone button was a little bit far away.
Yes.
Well, the mapping accuracy of the is high enough for that. You could do coordinate entry to give each mapping location, and you would have the same effect. But typically, the cadastral maps are regulated by a title, which includes the surveyed boundary coordinates of the title that to the land that you hold. So for any sort of practical purpose of analytics, it would be good enough. If you wanted to create cadastral data from scratch, you would probably have to enter those coordinates of the title, and that's probably what you would want to do if you're planning to have a lawsuit with your neighbor. But for most sort of analytical purposes, you would be very well off with what is captured in this sense.
Yeah. So this is, I think we have heard this through several of our webinars during these 2 hackathons now, that some of the data, like cadastral data, is not necessarily open in every country, and that causes some problems. However, with artificial intelligence tools, and we start to overcome some of these issues. But ideally, those institutions, I think, Tula, you were mentioning this, that you also actually need to have capacity building in the institutions in order to be able to share all the data that would be beneficial for society. So, and this is something that we work on in the group of Earth observation as well, to really address this need of sharing as much data as possible, but realizing there are some difficulties. Okay, just to underline the importance of sharing, which was also what Carol then said, you know, please join us to improve what is there. We can do this together. And training is about to start to go more into detail. And that is now Raitis, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's me.
Yes.
First, I would like to say sorry that the video turned out to be a little bit longer than necessary. And so I will not talk much about that before, but I would like to just highlight that the library which I'm developing and also including in the SmartAfriHub is an open source project. And there are a lot of things which over the years have been developed there. And after each project which we are having, we are packaging these functionalities as a components and then turning them on or off by the need. So also people from outside are encouraged to take part and develop this tool further.
Excellent. And yeah, so Raitis has pre-recorded this tutorial. We will call it a tutorial. And we, in addition to Raitis here, we have František and also Philip, who will be able to answer any of your detailed questions. So make sure now that you, during this, it's a video that Raitis recorded, is 12 minutes long. Write down your questions. They can be any type of questions. And we have this panel of experts working daily on this to answer your detailed questions. So be prepared to that. Follow this 12-minute long video where Raitis is explaining everything. And then we will have a Q&A afterwards with more experts. Okay? Yes. We are ready to see your video, Raitis. Let's see. I will start it now. Here we go.
SmartAfriHub aims to integrate different types of demo applications, where farmers, developers, and researchers will have the chance to cooperate, test different APIs for new solutions, and also provide common experiments. One of these applications is available on smartafrihub.com under section Map. It provides visualization of thematic data layers and compositions and is in the process of being integrated with various other components, such as server application called Layman for uploading spatial data and converting it to OGC compliant services, and Mitska catalog for storing and searching metadata about spatial data. This application is based on Aegis Layers NG web mapping library, which is being developed further in this hackathon as an open source project. As is common with many mapping applications, it provides layer management functionality, which you can see here, and location and tracking and data source management. Management and discovery, identity tool, which you can use to pick on features in some WMS layer, for example, and see what are these objects attributes, and printing and sharing of map URL and also publishing it to social networks, and saving the composition, or in other words, map project, which is available for logged in or authorized users. This is the common core package which comes included if we include the library bundle in any content management system or static HTML file. But other projects we are developing extra modules, for example, for sensor data management or visualization of specific analysis, for example, or dialogues. I will show you the individual panels in such an order as we would, as it would be common in a simple digitization project, where a user has some background and draws the vector features over this background. First, we would need to connect this background layer. I will go to Data Sources panel, and here we can see three tabs. The first tab is Mitska Data Catalog services or results from this catalog, which we can filter by using map extent or keywords. And we have already populated it with some data sources in Africa. The second one is layman method, layman data source storage or processing application, and the third one is used for uploading or linking different WMS services, ArcGIS REST services. You can see vector files if you have put them on some server already or you want to upload them. And you can also upload shape files, and then they are stored into layman and converted into WMS service. Let's try one of the layers from Mitska catalog, Sentinel-2 imagery. By clicking on this layer here, we can see its metadata, like bounding box, some abstract title. I will now edit. And as you can see, here are the services capabilities. So the image format in which it can be queried, or the features on it can be picked. And here is the list of layers. This particular service has also time dimension. So we can see the Sentinel images in different time periods or time moments in time. So I added it, and now it displays in the layer manager. In layer manager, I can change time, because in this image, in this particular image, you can see that we have part of the image covered by clouds. So I will go to another moment in time. This seems to not be the best date. Yeah, this is a little bit better, so I will use this one. I can change the opacity. To look if some of the content in the background image is not properly digitized in the OpenStreetMap, for example. Yeah, this particular spot seems to be different. So next I will try to add a new vector layer, which I'm gonna use to draw the features on. This can be done in the toolbar on the top. And by clicking plus button, I will add a layer called pixels. And on this layer, I will draw a feature. I can click on the feature and look at its parameters or coordinates, or add some attributes to it. And in the layer manager, I can then click on this layer and then style it. I can also rename the layer or delete it if I would like to. So I'm gonna style it light green with some black contour. Whenever we draw or change some features attributes, the changes get sent to layman and get stored in a spatial database, and then can be served as a WMS or WFS service. This also happened right now. So when we are reloading the layer or reloading the page, the layers are available in the Data Sources panel under tab Layman. Here they are. So if we click on the fixes layer, we can see its metadata. Here are the links for WFS and WMS, which are very useful for geoinformaticians to integrate these services into other GIS solutions or analysis. We will add these services, both of them, to the map as a vector layer and also as WMS imagery layer. When we clicked on the WMS option, then we are presented a dialog where we can choose the image format query format, put the layer under some folder. So we will choose this layer here and edit. Currently, the symbology was not generated and sent to layman, so it uses some default symbology, but we plan to extend it and create some automatic symbology creator and SLD file creator on the client side, and then send that one to layman. Now we have to style it on our own. Here in this panel, we can see the legend. And when we change the style for the vector layer, I will again make it green with black contour and turn off the WMS layer. Then in the legend, you can see that the legend panel, you can see that the legend changed. So it got dynamically regenerated. Aegis Layers uses the first 1000 features to generate some unique images in the legend graphics, because the legend can be can vary with, by some attribute values, for example. And now my colleague will probably more tell you about map compositions and authorization, and also thematic map layers.
And
thank you for your attention.
yes, this is the layer. That was it. Yes. Thank you so much. Very detailed, and I'm sure you will be able to use this presentation later when you go and try yourself. And I've seen here in the chat that you have asked some questions, and our colleagues Philip and František have tried to answer them the best they can, and Jan as well. so I think, do you want to add something, Raitis?
No, I guess I will go through the questions and try to answer them as best as I can.
Maybe I can add one thing. What Raitis demonstrated is the client which is fully integrated with the portal. On the portal, you can find on the link which is working out of the portal, and which is better if you would like using this map on your smartphone. In the description of AH Layers, you will find the link also for the client which is not integrated with all portal, and which you will be able to use on your smartphone.
Yes, that's true. The application and Aegis Layers is also working on smartphones. It's not a native application, so the performance might be a little bit lower, but still it works, and it has this responsive design or responsive layout, and has been used in some sewage treatment project in or facilities in Czech Republic as a mobile application, and also for collecting citizen science data or voluntary generated data before.
So actually, what you're saying, you can create maps with your mobile phone using this tool.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool. So I don't know if this maybe you might want to test out this facilities here when you participate in the Big Earth Challenge that is just was launched yesterday. Yesterday was the Earth Day, and a big campaign to collect as many citizen science data as possible was launched by this event, and the group on Earth observation is participating there because we are interested in this data. And maybe you can use this a very easy, low threshold way of contributing to all this by using the smartphone, as Raitis just explained to us. I have a question, Carol, because we have been discussing, and to Raitis, to all of you, we have been discussing, the different data sources. There's a lack of data, and there are different data sources. Now, these tools that is on the SmartAfriHub, can they access data from other data catalogs and use the tools?
Yes, from these catalogs which are supporting open format. Yes, our data catalog is fully for the people who are expert ISO 13919 standard. It is the standard for exchange information among the catalogs. So we could be or client of other catalogs, so we can download or harvest data from other catalogs, or we could be server for other catalogs. Then other catalogs can harvest it all what is on our catalog. So this is fully open. We are also support that it could be searched from open search. And what is also interesting, it takes some time, but due to the fact that we are using also metadata in RDF and this format, the metadata will become also searchable through Google, but it took some time. Yes, so there is also this possibility.
Yes, exactly, because what we all have heard about today, that there's many different portals, there are many different catalogs, and even for the free data. And so what you said, Carol, is that, for instance, open search APIs will be possible to use. So you will be, the SmartAfriHub will be a part of this network that is connected.
Yes, of course. And if anybody would like to, for example, integrate data here, it is enough to send us the URL for this CSV protocol, and we will be able, for example, organize harvesting every midnight of metadata and making actual metadata available from other portals. But this is why we need community. And of course, on opposite side, anybody can harvest metadata from our portal.
Yes. So this is what we've discovered, actually, that, knowing about the data and then accessing the data for many reasons. Sometimes the systems are broken, so the data are there, but you cannot access it. So having different nodes, like SmartAfriHub being one of them, is securing a resilience for accessing data. So
yes, and of course, also in the cases when you would like to make here map composition, you need to find the data, or eventually if you would like to run some analysis, usually you need to access the data on your portal. So this is very important that the portal will be in some way interoperable, because you saw this this image. I showed this also on some previous presentation with bottle of wine, that for people it's not good to see. If you would like to know what is in the bottle, go to this terminal. People need to see this metadata here, and this is also why we are integrating metadata to map client. Yes, not to have separated search for metadata, but directly integrated into map client, because this we see as very important.
Yes, absolutely. And so metadata, in fact, is the thing that is necessary to make data interoperable, that you can actually discover the data and access the data. Then you need to have the metadata.
What is also important, that a little more than is in the standard, we are able also make metadata about map composition. One from the next presentation from Jan, how then could benefit QGIS from this catalog of map compositions.
Absolutely. So Jan, apologies. Well, maybe you are sort of the secret person in this panel now. People have been seeing you, but do not know who you are. So I think the time is right and ripe for you to introduce yourself. I will let you introduce yourself. Tell a little bit about yourself and what you do. Can you do that?
Okay. Hello, my name is Jan, and I'm developing applications for QGIS in Python language. This is my focus at work. And one of this application I would like to introduce for you.
Right. So we will get an introduction to the plugin, the layman plugin for QGIS, right? That's what you are going to tell us about. Yeah. So just before I give you the floor to do that, for those of you who are novices, who are new to the QGIS tool, we have a link to a tutorial that will introduce you to QGIS in general. And we will, in that tutorial, which was given by Next.Geos, by the way, in that we talk about plugins, that you can create your plugin. And what Jan is going to do now is to explain in detail what the plugin, one type of plugin, and how you connect it to QGIS, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there you have it. You can. I think we are ready to learn about the QGIS plugin now, Jan. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So I share my screen.
Yeah, we turn off our cameras again, including you, Jan, and then we will.
So
do you know how to turn off your camera?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, go ahead. We are ready.
I prepared short live example how to create map composition with QGIS and store it on layman server. We can move into the QGIS. Try to create small composition. I don't have existing project in Uganda, so I prepared fictional project where I created some layers in random fields and places in Uganda territory. I used orthophoto Google satellite maps as base layer for this project because it has quite good resolution per pixel. So we have QGIS project with 4 layers, 2 polygon layers named brown fields and green fields, 1 line string layer representing river, and single trees in the fields placed like a point layer. Sorry. There is also assigned symbology that will be also stored in layman. That means colors, line widths will be also available on the server. So we have 4 vector layers, and we want to create map composition of them. For this purpose, there is a layman server and a QGIS client. After start plugin, I must authorize plugin against some live rate server. So I authorize plugin, and after successful authorization, I can move back to the client, and I can start manage maps form. Most functions of this plugin are included right here. Click on the Add Map. Now it's time to fill mandatory fields. There is a short title, representative name, and description. There can be some longer text. There is also extent of canvas. I'll take it from focus of QGIS. Now we have empty composition, and we can add outliers. So I focus on our composition, and I adding four layers. Layers appeared in a layer list, and now is also available layer preview. Now is composition and all layers stored at layman server, and we will try load it back into the QGIS like web map service raster layers. So there it is. I turn off all layers. Now we can see raster layers of map composition. We can also load composition back to the QGIS like vector layers, but without symbology, because symbology is not provided in the web feature service in this version of layman. But a big advantage of web feature service is the possibility of layer editing in the future. Now I want to delete green fields layer from composite and add existing layer from layman instead of that. I'm moving back to manage maps form and deleting a map from our composite. Now we have only 3 layers in composition, and I prepared forest layer, and this layer is stored already in Layman server. Layer was successfully added, and we can check it again over web map service. Greenfields layers is gone, but forest layer right here was added to VMS. And now I want change brownfields layer and made this change into map. So I will use our old layer. I will add next brownfield. I'm moving back to manage maps. There is already exist brownfield layers, but I will override its geometry. Now map composition was successfully modified. So that's all about this short tutorial. If you want to try it by yourself, you must install QGIS and Layman plugin by following instruction that I will send into the chat after presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you. Instructions are also already on, I think, SmartAfriHub, how to install these plugins. There are also instruction. But Jan, in principle, there will be also possible if you will have already some existing maps in QGIS, you can directly from QGIS publish this, yes? Or you can take some shapefile to the QGIS, and with this also you can publish this on the server, yes?
Yes, it doesn't matter if it's a shapefile or a GeoJSON or so on. Everything you can upload into the Layman server.
Great. I see there are some questions and some answers. Have you, Raitis, have you followed the detailed questions there? And Jan, I guess you not, because you were doing the presentations. Carol, also, have you seen any questions that we should highlight?
I don't know, because I follow this. I don't see so much.
There was the question if the layers which get vectorized are by one user are also available to other users, and the question and the answer is that yes, because they are published as WMS and WFS services. And the user who published them is able to copy the URL of the service and give it to other people to include them into their own compositions. But later we will also develop some kind of a permission system where the user can then set the permissions for anonymous users, for himself, or maybe just like it would, just like it is common in Linux-based systems, like file permission model.
Mm.
But yeah, currently it's a copy-paste of WMS URL, and that you can see in this metadata dialog, which I was showing you in the video.
Yeah, Carol, did you have something to add?
I think I see here some question from Victor. Is the fully smart and app or just a platform like OSM? I think that it is a complex system. Yes, it is something what is we discussed is what is compatible with Geo in Europe with Inspire. Yes, so it is a solution which can help for managing and sharing the data. You can share there any type of the data. And the goal is to extend it the possibilities for the future. So it is some real open solution.
Yes, it's
and in reality, it is something what is relatively easy replicable. Yes, so such type of solution can be replicated on other places. So this and this is also why we are pushing open sources, and what we are here also trying to demonstrate that you are able to build powerful solution, having desktop client and having web solution on fully on the base of open sources. That there is no necessity to look only on the commercial system, but 100% of open sources you are able to build something what is very powerful.
Yes, so this is all about open source, and also these trainings are free and open to facilitate the bigger collection of data and use of data. So so it's a joint. In many ways, for me at least, it sounds like it's following the model of Linux. I mean, with sufficient number of people at different levels using the free and open source, the better the product will be. This is also what you have in mind, right, Carol? To have as many as possible to join. And it's not only to join to use the tools, but also to develop the tools, right?
Yeah, yes, of course. And you can help us to build a platform as all, but anybody could select some concrete components and work on these concrete components. All these components are on GitHub, and you can find the link to any from these components if it will be interesting for you.
I'm going to talk you about observations and insights which I got when I was a mentor of one of the Inspire Hackathon challenges. The challenge is number 2. The name is for that SmartAfriHub. And the title of this presentation outlines what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about agriculture, Africa, data, and R&D, research, development, and innovation. A few words about this challenge 2, SmartAfriHub. We didn't have a sort of defined problem beforehand. We have a tabula rasa. We have an opportunity to invent our problem ourselves and start to solve that problem. So we had to start talking. That was our first thing to do. In this corona situation, we had slight problems to find a right channel, how to communicate with these registered partners for this challenge 2. There were 60 registered partners, and we tried different channels, for example, email, Skype group, and Zoom also in one point. But eventually it appeared that WhatsApp solution, application, was the best one. And we used that. This is our way to talk. So fingers have been working a lot during the last month. The WhatsApp group was established in the end of March. And since that, many people have been joining us. We have now 32 members in that WhatsApp group, and it's growing every day. We have partners there from different countries, from Africa, from Europe. And I have enjoyed a lot for this discussion, because we have cool guys and we have expertise. We have expertise of agriculture, of soil, ICT, meteorology, economics, big data management, and a lot of other things of which I have no idea. The image on the right side, it's a text cloud of the WhatsApp discussions. Do you notice what we have been talking about? Of course, we have been talking about agriculture, farming and farmers, Africa, and data. It was the main issue all the time. We talked about data, how to get it, where is it good, is it bad, do we have enough data, do we have access to data? And that has been the main topic. And that's why I'm now talking about cornerstone of data in research, development, and innovation. We also thought a lot and talked a lot about weather. That was the second biggest topic, data and weather. We also talked about water. That was one main issue. And water and weather, they are linked to each other. So that was our topics. Well, as we are talking about hackathon, we have to identify some kind of problem that we could work on. We need to frame for our talk. And in the very beginning, end of March, Mr. Ronald, a meteorologist from Uganda, stated these three main questions, of which Africa farmers are all the time considering. When to plant, what to plant, and where to sell. And these three questions have been really the guideline for our discussion for the last month. I thank Ronald for these great questions. Without questions and problems, we don't have any choice to move on. Well, we were discussing about this when to plant issue quite a long time, actually. And then one day, Mr. Simon von Kerkhoff, an economist from Belgium, jumped in our discussion. He had followed us silently for a long time, a couple of weeks, and he said that maybe this kind of a little exercise is now in place. And he made one day work, make some state-of-art study, and came out of the room, so to say, hit the nail on the head and said to all of us, if we want to create original content, make something different, make something unique, and find answers to Ronald's fundamental questions, we need data. At the moment, there are no data, so we have to find the data. That is the first problem to solve. So, that was our mission, find data. And I explain a little bit more what kind of data we are talking about. Simon and some other guys define it together, what kind of data is needed. And the left side of this slide explains the different kind of layers we were thinking about. Economic layer, what is the income, what is the yield, what is the money which is going around farming. And we were trying to find the data from Nigeria. Farms layer data from Kenya. What kind of farms they are, what are their size, how they are owned, where are they, how many these are. This kind of very ground level, low level data, actually, but critical one. The third layer is weather layer, right to say, from Uganda, to be able to make short-term predictions for daily operations for farmers and to be able to make long-term predictions for planting opportunities, to give the farmers the information they need to make right kind of farming decisions. The fourth layer, agronomic layer from Burundi, about soil, about water, about fertilizers, cost of the production. Aren't they quite important for agriculture? Aren't they? But unfortunately, in this situation, we did very much work. The guys were working for finding these sources, but we didn't succeed very well. I know that Corona has impact on that, but it is not easy to find good data from these countries, at least. So this small experiment showed that it's difficult. Imagine if we had found this data, we could have been opportunity to create original content which is meaningful for the farmers. Something which is very local, addressed to the certain farmers of certain region, and it could help the farmers to make the right decisions. What to plant, when to plant, and perhaps also where to sell their products. But we are working on this. We are not in the close of the, or in the end of the hackathon yet. Based on these observations and discussions with the Challenge 2 group, I wanted to make some kind of a conclusion of my feelings at this moment. I think that there should be a two-way approach, bottom up, which means that there is evidently small-scale data collection. It's must do. You have to do that anyways. There is no options. You can use existing data, or you can collect your data yourself. Or you can use free and open data, for example, Copernicus, of which we are going to hear more today. This is sort of bottom up. Everybody can do that as a researcher. But this is not enough, because we can't get any power and scaling with this style. We need top-down approach as well, which means that there is a national and regional policy and strategy which will help and advance the digital transformation process. And the aim is to use open data as much as possible. And at the same time, take care of that personal data is used in fair way. My data is important, so be careful with that. The top-down approach includes also the cooperation of research, education, and governmental institutions, academy, administrative guys, important people and important institutions should work together to find open data and open it in easy way to agriculture community. And we all need capacity building. The aim is that there will be first fair data economy that will support research, development, and innovation actions in long term. That would be so cool. So that was my message, and the last slide is about SmartAfriHub. This might be some kind of node to transfer knowledge, and it is. It transfers knowledge. There are tools, there are applications, and there might be also data in the future. Thank you. challenge 2, SmartAfriHub. And the SmartAfriHub should be a very clear concept or platform for everybody now. It's a platform, it's a hub, and it's supposed to bring together the practitioners of agriculture, developers, ICT guys, researchers, everybody who is interested in agriculture in Africa and beyond. So it's a link which merges these different kind of expertise together in one place, in one platform, in one hub. And the challenge was to make it happen. And for us, it means that we had several goals. They are not sort of technical goals or technical aims as we have heard so far from the challenges. It's a little bit softer. We wanted to build a community of practice around agriculture and digital issues. We want to bring together the experts. We also wanted to improve SmartAfriHub as a platform, as a technical platform, to add more features, more applications, more tools, more content. The fourth goal was to improve awareness of these all cool resources of SmartAfriHub. We have to disseminate, we have to communicate, and we have to tell to Africa and to whole world, which is technically possible, that we have this kind of great tool here now. So we have these goals to multiply the subscribers amount and the number of visits in SmartAfriHub. Really exciting goals we had. To make this happen, we decided to create a community of our own, and we did it in WhatsApp. Because of the technical problems, it was a very good solution, because WhatsApp works very well in Africa society, and we could, in that way, we could gather a group of people, nearly 40 guys, and we started to talk. And very beginning, we heard these 3 basic questions, and this was something we had reason to talk. These gave the reason us to discuss, share ideas, learn from each other, build capacity to each other. The number and number of people and the but quality of expertise is very huge in this WhatsApp group. They really know what they are talking about, and our talk was very practical, very grassroots level talk. But very beginning also we realized that there is something missing. We have these great questions, but we don't get answers without data. And actually, this was the main point for our hackathon, for our journey. We tried desperately to find right kind of data that we could make new insights, new answers to the critical questions. And because we have so great people in our group, we got data. Actually, we got in the end so much data that we couldn't decide how to deal with that. And we didn't have very much time to play with the data. Anyways, I think that we achieved something. And it's more important than technical solutions or technical new innovations. I think we succeeded to plant a seed of curiosity to work together, We succeeded to share experience, knowledge. We succeeded to make a network which hopefully will continue beyond this hackathon. We got ideas. I learned a lot. And I'm sure that everybody has learned a lot from African agriculture, but also about technology, about data, about challenges. About SmartAfriHub development, yes, it happened. There are now more tools, there are now more applications, and that is because the other challenges made a very good job. They created something new. So at this point, we have new tools, new applications, we have data, and we have a team. It's a very solid basement to do something really cool for African agriculture. And I know these guys which are in this WhatsApp group, they are ready to do a big change, a big leap. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tula. And we will clap for the SmartAfriHub as well. We go directly to the questions, the jury members. Sujit.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tula. Very interesting. Thank you for sharing these experiences. I think, one of the key things about the hackathon, it's kind of an ideathon as well. So your work is and the experiences of this team. I found it very useful to learn from the experience, especially the fundamental questions that that came. And I think that's the main thing. And irrespective of all these different challenges, and in future as well, I think those fundamental questions are what makes all of us work on these areas. So thank you for sharing those.
Excellent. Lydia, Ian, you're fine? Yeah. Both muted and both speaking. So
okay.
Ladies first.
I share similar sentiments with Shusti. Sorry if I can't pronounce the name. When I was reading through the report, exactly that was my comment, and I think the presenter tried to also put it across that there is nothing you can really pick out directly from what has been done, but the experiences and whatever has been accumulated is quite massive, and it's appreciated. Thank you for the participation.
Thank you. Ian, your turn.
My comment is the same. I think the tangible results are not huge, but the community building is there. And I really like the way this initiative reached out to some of the other challenges and tried to integrate some of that. Yes. And it could be the start of something great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tula. Thank you so much, Akan. I know you have been preparing also. So we will go to the next point on the agenda, which is a little bit of a break.